Since I began living part-time in Paris, one of the things I've come to love is how often I stumble upon parks and green spaces of all stripes. Whether they be tiny, charming corners which feel like secret gardens, or grand sweeping parks with perfectly manicured trees. I'm particularly drawn toward these spaces because I have a long-term illness and have found moments spent outdoors in nature to have a real healing effect on me. Paris's Luxembourg Garden, which would fall under the category of the grand and perfectly manicured parks, has become one of my favorite parks here. Actually, it's technically not a city park. Perhaps it's closer to something like a national park, because the garden houses the stately French Senate. It took me a while to appreciate this garden because so often I would meet friends there on weekends when it can get quite crowded. But since I started going there on weekdays, now I marvel at all the park has to offer for adults and children alike, and how beautifully maintained it is. When I want to steal away to a place which seems far from the madness of crowds, I head to the Medici Fountain on the northern edge of the park. It's such a quiet corner that I walked past this spot for many years without realizing that it was even there. Indeed, many of my Parisian friends don't know about it. I love hanging out there or reading a book. On hot, muggy days, it's a great place to rest because it's almost completely shaded. Even though I don't have children, I also enjoy whiling away an afternoon watching kids float miniature sailboats in one of the park's fountains. Parents rent the boats decked with colorful sails from a man who sells them from a cart. In addition to sailboats, you'll also see floating on the fountain a small wood house for the ducks that call the fountain their home. Elsewhere in Luxembourg Garden, you'll find the original bronze model of the Statue of Liberty, which the people of France gave America as a gift. Parisians also play the game boule in the park, which is something like a cross between lawn bowling and croquet. There, at the edge of the boule court, you'll even see permanently erected coat racks, where locals stash their coats while playing the game. For children, the park also offers a merry-go-round and playground, live puppet shows, and pony rides. Beehives housed around an ornate wooden shed and a small fruit orchard offer up more unexpected elements in this wonderful park. Another favorite Paris park of mine is Parc Monceau. It's smaller than Luxembourg Garden and is a park that draws more local residents than it does tourists. There is something about its romantic elegance and replicas of classical ruins that enchants me. A carousel for children seems as if it were built hundreds of years ago. For me, there is nothing like watching children happily bouncing along on their pony rides there, with a colonnade of columns in the distance. That speaks, to me anyway, of the wonderful ability that Parisians have for creating a sense of fantasy and street theater.